afternoon and welcome to Altice Channel 20 with my new TV show, 360 Degrees to Success. My name is Jeff Bloom and I've been in media for a few years now, in radio mostly, and I've had the opportunity to interview very successful people like Les Brown, Jack Canfield, Lorna Langmeyer, and Burt Ward. And coming up with the idea for this show is to give back to the local community here on Long Island, giving local business owners and entrepreneurs the venue to share not only their successes, but also failures and what it takes to be successful in your own business. I hope that this show will motivate viewers out there who want to own their own business, but do not know where to start or even give the belief that everyone has what it takes to succeed. So my very first inaugural show, I have Gary Jacobs, who also has a show on Altice, Long Island Backstory, which is on Saturdays at 6 p.m. I've known Gary for a few years now, and he kind of helped me develop the idea to get my show, and here we are. And I have also a great crew. Donald Caulfield is my cameraman, and Andy Hersman does all the magic for the show. So, Gary, you own Scoochie Pets.
Yeah, first, thank you for having me on your first show. I feel honored, the first of many shows. So I appreciate that you have me as your first guest.
Thanks. Thanks for being here.
Good luck. I know it'll be a successful show. I've been on your radio show before, and you have a lot of listeners on that as well. So I know you get a big following.
And I've been involved with different organizations with you as well. You're very successful in what you do, so I figured you'd be a perfect first guest for the show.
Thanks.
But in addition to having you on a TV show, and we're not going to talk too much about it, but Gary's also the president of the Americans for Legal Reform. But today we're going to talk about your company.
My day job.
Your day job. Among other things, like you have enough time to do all those things. So you have Scoochie Pet Products is the name of your company since, what, 2014?
Yep, we started in 2014.
And Scoochie's a unique name, obviously. And how did you come up with that name?
Well, there's a couple things. First of all, when we try to come up with the name of the company, the first thing you do is you come up with all these names, with the word pet in it, Pet Pride, the best pet, and then you realize that pretty much every single name that you would think of a catchy name with pet is taken. Either the trademark is done, somebody registered a corporation, somebody's doing business, or then you finally get to all that, and then you go to the website and somebody bought the URL, because remember when they first started with the internet, a lot of people just went out and bought every good name. So they took everything that had to do with pet. So I was trying to think of a name, and years ago I worked for the Imes company, and they had a dog food, and their dog food was called Eukanuba. And when I was starting with them, everybody would always say, where'd you come up with the name Eukanuba? And the owner said, well, it was just a name that we made up in college, and I thought that would be a good name when I started my company. So I realized it doesn't, Eukanuba, now everybody knows, was a good dog food, but it didn't really mean anything. So I was trying to just come up with a different name, and going through names, my son, Ryan, that was his nickname growing up. People used to call him Scoochie. We called him Scoochie. And then I said, let me see if that comes up, because it doesn't really mean anything. Right. And we put in Scoochie. It came, nothing comes up. So I'm like, oh, good. There was like Smoochy Poochie, Scoochie Poochie. So we put in Scoochie, and it came up. I filed for the trademark, which unfortunately takes several months.
I was going to ask you,
but while you do the trademark, you have to also grab the URL, because it's public record who gets a trademark. Right. So the day the trademark goes through, somebody goes online and says, this guy is an idiot. He didn't grab the URL for Scoochie. So I went and bought all, which, it's cheap. You go to GoDaddy, and the first year they hook you. So they get you for like, $7 for this, $8. So we put Scoochie Pet, Scoochie Pet Products, ScoochyPet.com.org. We did all of them. Mm-hmm. And then I got the trademark for Scoochie. And the name worked. First of all, people thought it was cute. And again, it's also just something to talk about.
And it's a unique name that you really can't forget.
Yeah, it's unique. People remember. People ask me what does it mean, and it just opens up the conversation. It also loaned itself to adding to other products. For example, we have Scoochie Poochie tennis balls, the Scoochie crepe pad, Super Scooch, which is our durable line of dog toys. So the name really lends itself to a lot of different uses.
And you talked earlier about getting the trademark and all that stuff, and it took a couple of months. But for our listeners out there, our viewers, now I'm on TV, not radio anymore. Is it expensive to get trademarked? Is it, how's the process?
It's actually not. It's not crazy. You have to use the right lawyer. So my first one that I didn't use a good lawyer.
So it's not something you can do by yourself.
You actually can do it by yourself. I found it, if you have a good lawyer, I use the guy who just does patents and trademarks. And it is very, once you know how to do it, it's very simple. I did one on my own, and there's like a bunch of choices for the category and this, and you know what? If you do it wrong, then you just set yourself back. So
You're stuck with that name, whatever.
or you just set yourself back for another couple months, and it takes too long as it is. So I use an attorney. It's about, I would say the initial retainer is about $950, and then if it gets approved, it's like another $500. So it's less than $2,000 to get a trademark to get a trademark name. You get the paper. They also monitor it for you, because I think every couple of years you have to up it, and also it's up to you to challenge it if somebody uses it. The government doesn't search the internet every day. It's up to you.
You would have to find it, but inadvertently or something, right?
Well, and then once you find it, it's up to you to enforce your patent or trademark. The government just doesn't do it for you automatically. So it's good to have a lawyer. In my case, I actually had a problem. One of my products is called Wiz B Gone. W-I-Z, the letter B, Gone. Well, a lot of people know the product Weed B Gone. Well, they contested my trademark for Wiz B Gone, saying it was too close to Weed B Gone, and it could be confused with that. So I had to have the lawyer go back and forth. I ended up calling up the company, which is a huge company, and I asked the lawyer, I said, you guys trying to like not make me use it because you're a lot more money than me. I'm not going to fight. What's your goal? And he said, no, we really don't want any confusion. I said, well, I'll just sign an agreement that I'll never come out with weed products, in my line. And they said, oh, okay, if you'll do that, then we'll agree not to fight your trademark. But then it still sets it up. I think they publish it for a couple months, and then it's up to people to object to it.
Wow.
So it just takes time. Unfortunately, it takes time, which when you're starting a business, and if you're paying rent, and you're waiting to get money, but you need to do all these things really in advance, because you don't want to print
You're saying it should be done early? You shouldn't get your LLC or S Corp and then start going and then eventually patent a name or trademark a name?
Right. Well, in my case, we're coming out with product. I wanted to get it, and I had no choice. I wanted to get it in advance because I didn't want to get 50,000 dog toys that come in that says Scoochie Pet products on it, and then I find out that I can't use it. I got to pull them out of the market, or usually they'll just stop selling it.
Right.
But I didn't need that, so I needed at least the Scoochie name trademark before I did anything.
And Gary, what's the main focus of your business, and what are some of the difficulties you encouraged when you're getting started in the industry?
Well, the main focus is what I call pet shop quality toys. There are a lot of as you know now, in the old days, pet shops is where you went to buy your pet products. Now, a lot of pet stores are gone. They went out of business. Rents are too high. Big companies like Petco, PetSmart, Pet Supplies Plus put them out of business. So now, grocery stores and non-traditional pet outlets, like Bell's, Bed Bath & Beyond, Ross stores, they all carry pet products now.
Right.
If they're buying direct from China, it's going to be hard to compete with them. I could compete with them because I'm buying direct from the factory also. But then now I'm the middleman. With a Geico commercial, I think, or as I said, we cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
So, basically I would be the middleman. So I can't compete with a Walgreens who's selling a toy that they're buying directly from China.
So basically buying from the same source you are.
Well, not the same source, but they're buying
the same type of source.
The same right, and they're going to be cheaper. So what I do is I have to be unique. So you're not comparing apples to apples. So what I do is I went with more durable toys that would be of value for the customer. Where if you went into, say, a dollar store, yeah, you can get a plush dog toy for $1, $1.50. It's going to be destroyed in 2 seconds. Now, maybe the customer would say, well, I don't care. I only spent $1. I don't expect it to last me very long. My toys retail for $7.99 to $13.99. People expect them to last. So I'm looking for that market where people are willing to pay for a quality product. So I design my own toys. Nothing is off the shelf. You're not going to see my toy and go, oh, I saw the exact same toy in the dollar store. Now, eventually they can copy me, but they're really not going to, I don't think they're going to be cheaper. So I do unique materials, as again, pet shop quality toys at a reasonable price. And that's sort of my niche, is to get in there. There's a lot of people selling cheap toys, and there's also quite a few people selling expensive. So I'm in the middle of the road, and I try to cater to what I call the traditional pet trade, because that's where my background came from. My family has a pet store. I had a pet store, and that's really where my heart is. So I do try to sell to either traditional pet shops, or even if it's a mass store that has a pet department within the store.
Great.
And that's what I try to.
People need to know what they're buying, and like you said, some don't care, but
some will appreciate it, right?
But the people who really research and know what they're getting, they'll pick the right product.
Right. Absolutely. Right. Exactly.
And we talked off air about how you got to keep updated on things,
Right.
and especially in your type of business, because there's so many companies out there doing what you do, and there's been many changes over the last 10 or 15 years. What do you do to monitor, keep up with that, and to make your product?
Well, as far as you have to keep fresh. People always look for new. So if I'm going into a store with my bag full of toys, the first thing they're going to say is what's new. If I call up for an appointment to somebody, they're going to say, oh, Gary, you have anything new? So I need to have new just to keep it fresh. And as I tell people, if you have my toy or any toy on your shelf for a year and nobody bought it, nobody's going to buy it the second year. It doesn't get prettier. If the customer didn't like it the first time, the second time, let's say they go to the pet shop 4 or 5 times a year to buy their dog food. If they didn't like it the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth time, they'll probably not like it the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th time. So you do need to keep your product fresh, which is definitely something I do. I try to add about 10 to 15 new toys a year, different unique products, building on the category, on the toys that do well for me. As far as the market changing, of course, it's changed dramatically. When I grew up here on Long Island, there was probably 100 pet stores on Long Island. Everybody had a 10-gallon fish tank, in their kitchen, and for your birthday, you might want to get one for your bedroom, and you may have had gerbils, and everybody had a dog. That's different. Everybody plays video games now.
Right.
So unfortunately, a lot of those pet shops have gone out of business, and then it transitioned into bigger chains, mass chains, franchises, and now it's become more acceptable for quality pet toys to be sold in a non-traditional pet outlet. Again, like those Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Bed Bath & Beyond. Who would think they would carry toys? But they do, and they do. Some of them do a good job. Some of the grocery stores do a decent job now. So that's really changed too. It used to be a system where people would import, then we would sell to a distributor. The distributor would then sell to the store. So there was all these layers in there. Now the distributors are all gone, and there's only a few big conglomerates. Right. And the problem with the distribution is that margin is tough. It's okay when you used to be able to double your money on product, but now with the internet, people are going direct to the consumer. So there really isn't enough room, I don't think, to buy toys through a traditional distributor. So what I do, in the old days, I always went through a distributor. It was like taboo. Oh, you never sell a pet store direct, that's why we're here for. Now it's totally changed. There are people who go through distributors, but my business model is to go direct to the retailers.
Okay.
I make it easy for them. My whole thing is take all the obstacles away for them to buy. Sometimes I even say, well, why wouldn't you buy from me? I got toys that sell. I'll sell 1 piece of this, 2 pieces of this, because people don't have the money to stock up on the inventory like the good old days, right? In the 80s, late 80s, people had money to buy inventory. Not anymore. They're like week to week. So we ship everything through FedEx. People get their orders. We ship in 24 hours. So that's important. The old days you can get an order and ship it in 10 days. Nobody cared because they had 6 of them on the shelf. Now people expect, on-time inventory where I'm holding the dollars. They're not doing it. So we have to ship orders in 24 hours. Many times we get a lot of orders during the day. We bring in a second shift into the warehouse to get the orders out so that every order is out the next day. And that's a lot of what we do now is, shipping pet shops 3 of this, 6 of this, 4 of this, and they order from us, say, every 2 weeks, and they get the order. We also do a lot of drop shipping, meaning, let's say Jeff's Pet Shop says, listen, I want to get into the online business, so I make my website, but I don't sell that many toys, but I list everything that Scoochie carries on my website. When somebody orders it, you send me the order. We drop ship it to the customer with your return address label. So it looks like it came from Jeff's Pet Shop, but actually came from my direct warehouse. But the way people are now,
another way for you to generate business.
Yeah, it's tough business because we don't make we make $1, something like that. But we do a lot of volume. Some days we get 70, 80 orders that we're shipping out. We put them in a bag, put the sticker from the customer. We ship them out the door, and but those orders need to be shipped the same day. People now, as on Amazon, you order online, you expect that item, if it doesn't come in 2 days, you're freaking out that it didn't go. Yeah. So you have to ship orders. We do Groupon orders; they have to be shipped the same day.
What you mentioned earlier is very important for our listeners and viewers. Again, I'll get.
Well, they're listening and viewing.
Listening and viewing at the same time, unless they have the sound off. But you got to be aware of what's working and what's not working. But you also got to give it a certain amount of time. But right, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So, for example, in my business and different advertising and different things I've tried, I know you've got to try. If you're trying something new, you got to give it 4 to 6 months to see if it works, and then you make a decision if it works or not.
And listen, there's nothing wrong with failing. It's if you
fail
and you keep doing it, that's the problem. Listen, I can't. Here's what I tell buyers: you have to buy losers to buy winners. You're not a freaking genius. You're not going to buy every toy that's going to be a home run. It's just not going to happen. Not everybody does it. But who cares? They're dog toys. So I tell people, don't be afraid to try them. Try these toys. Try a dozen of each. Put them in the store. If it didn't sell, all right, you market it 50 off. You still get back your money, and you move on. Right. So, and I do the same philosophy. Listen, I've bought toys that I designed, so of course in my mind they were beautiful because I designed them. So I thought they were great, and then I put them out in the stores. Like, what? Are you kidding me? This is dreck. Who's gonna buy this toy? Right. But there's still somebody to buy everything. But some of them really took off. We have a line. Maybe we'll show some on the screen of we call them Scoochzilla, which are toys where we print on a heavy-duty Cordura nylon, like almost a canvas material. We print like a pizza, a hamburger, a hot dog, and inside, instead of stuffing, we put a full squeaker. So there's no stuffing. The whole toy squeaks no matter where the dog touches it. Well, we started off, we had to buy the molds. So we had to pay $3,000 for each mold. So we had to buy 2 molds, one for the hot dog, one for the pizza. And they took off. Everyone said, we want more of them. So we designed 4 more toys with the round pizza mold, which do very well. And now we just added a large Chicago-style pizza, which we bought a mold for. And now we'll probably expand that one. So you definitely have to, move around in the market.
Right. Sometimes you don't know what's going to work until it works. It could be an accident. Like, oh, look, that's working. Let's do that.
And your marketing, a lot of it's the market. Believe it or not, I believe branding. A lot of it's the marketing. When I look at a lot of the mass brands, they just put the same header card on every toy. Dog toy, plush dog toy, vinyl dog toy, latex dog toy. We put names on our toys, and I really believe that makes a difference. I actually name my toys out of people I know. So like the bacon is named after my mother. It's Barbara's Bacon, and my brother's Mark the Mouse. My daughter's Carly. We have Carly the Fish. So everybody has a toy named after. In fact, I have a pooper scooper that I have a judge in my divorce that I didn't like. Her name was Marion McNulty, and I used to say she's a piece of. Well, we're in the afternoon, so I won't say it, but S-H-I-T. So when I came out with the new pooper scooper, I said, what's the name for this new pooper scooper?
The McNulty.
We called it the McNulty scoop. So it's sort of like bittersweet. But again, this is it's marketing, and people read it online, and they think, oh, it must be some famous dog trainer or something.
You should drop ship it to her home.
Yeah, I'll probably get arrested.
With the label on it.
But but it's something to talk, like, you're a salesman, right? So you go into the store, and especially if the man or the woman was divorced, and you tell them that story,
give me 10.
They just want to buy it just because they think it's funny, and then the item has to, at the end of the day, as cute as it is, the item has to perform and sell well at retail.
And just, I don't know if people ever came up with this question, but I kind of thought about it as you were talking about it, and even in the past when you told me that you had done that. Is there anything with that you can't do or shouldn't have done, or it's just the last name, right? Basically.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anybody.
Right. So in other words, if you would have said, the whole name.
If I probably would have said Judge Marion McNulty from Miller Place, New York,
that might have been
a problem. But it's not the Judge McNulty scoop anyway. But also, she was a public figure at the time. So, right. But you could just use names, of anybody.
That has a meaning to you too. That's most important.
Yeah. Listen, I believe in enjoying what I do.
Absolutely.
So I enjoy that.
Your primary business is in the Midwest. And in fact, you've been growing in the years that I've known you. You used to have your warehouse in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And in fact, we used to do some TV shows here with another friend of ours, and you would leave here like 9 p.m. and drive out to Pennsylvania, and I don't know how you did it. Yeah. And you just recently moved to Long Island to make it a little bit easier, but not in the sense, like you said, taxes and expenses, but you got a pretty good deal. And you looked into it and decided to move everything?
When I opened up, of course, I live on Long Island, but like many people, we're sick of Long Island. The taxes are insane. The electric's expensive. The labor's expensive. The red light tickets. In fact, if you get my stuff comes into the port of Newark, my containers come in, and they have a Long Island surcharge. So it costs more to go to Long Island than it does to go 3 hours away in Pennsylvania because of the tolls and the traffic. So there's a lot of extra. It's just so expensive. So when I looked at the rents on Long Island, and they were astronomical. And I'm like, how am I going to start a business when I'm right out of the bat? I'm paying $13,000, $14,000 a month for rent. I'm not going to even start selling product for a year, right? Because I got to wait for everything to come in. I got to get everything together. So right out of the bat, I'm going to spend $150,000 without selling my first toy.
So how's it been? How has it been since you've been here almost a year?
Over a year now, yeah. So I was in Pennsylvania. I
Seems like we just unloaded your truck like last week.
So I started in Pennsylvania because it was low rent. Literally $1,500 a month. I paid for about 5,000 square feet in Tobyhanna, which is in the Poconos, 3 hours away from here. And it was good for the first year, but as the business grew, first of all, I ran out of space. So I was looking to rent more space in Pennsylvania at a higher price. I said, what the heck am I doing? I got to get here.
So the space is bigger than your space
So
in
I have
Pennsylvania?
10,000 square feet. Yeah, I have 10,000 square feet here on Long Island. As you know, when I moved, part of the problem is unloading. I had 9 full 40-foot tractor trailers to unload, which is a big job and is expensive, but the move was so much. Each tractor trailer load is $1,800 to drive from Pennsylvania to here. So I had that, and I had to load it on that end, which was, I think we figured almost $3,000 for each truckload.
And then we had a bunch of us with
So what I did was I put on Facebook, thank God for good friends. Hey, if anybody wants to help me out, I got a truck showing up on.
We rolled there. There's about
Friday.
12, 15 of us.
Yeah,
there,
and
right?
I have about 10, 15 people there to unload the truck, and we got the 9 truckloads done.
And it wasn't too bad because a lot of stuff wasn't heavy. Some stuff was.
Yeah, plus
but you had
toys,
that,
thank God, but-
right, you had that the belt,
the conveyor belt.
the ramp go down. So it was, and we were BSing. It was fun. It was a
Yeah,
fun
no,
day.
it was nice. Thank God I have good friends. Don't be afraid to ask your friends for help. You know what's
But I
funny?
didn't send you my bill yet, though, so I have
Yeah.
to get that out to you.
Well, listen, everybody wants. The funny thing is, it's not easy to ask for help, but the reality is, everybody wants to help.
Yeah.
People want to help you. And
Well,
it
you
was
help
great.
you help people too. So
Well,
that's
yeah,
what you do.
Yeah, I do, but you never ask for it back. But people really did want to help, and like I said, it was great to have all my friends show up and help me.
And you also travel a lot. In fact, there was a couple times when I was traveling, we were in the same place together. Or Jeff, I can't talk. I'm in China, or I'm in Arizona. So what do you do? Like a lot of trade shows and things like that.
So I go to China at least once a year because we do buy some of our product from China. So I go to China at least once a year. I try to go twice a year, but as you get older, the trip gets tough. I also buy all my rawhide bones, and we call them body parts. But for people listening, it's not human body parts, but like femur bones, bully sticks, pig's ears, cow's ears. They all come from Brazil. So I go to Brazil once a year on that trip, and then I do all my trade shows, U.S. trade shows, which I do about 4 or 5 a year. A couple in Florida, Vegas, the Midwest, and then I also do. I do some distributor shows for certain people, so I do that. And then, of course, I have to go to my customers.
Yep. I don't want to cut you off because there's a lot of
But you
information.
just did.
But that's what I'm doing. But if I say I don't want to, it sounds better.
Okay.
But anyway, real quick, where can people find you if they want to?
So if they want to buy, we have a website, www.scoochiepet.com, but we only sell wholesale. We don't sell directly to customers. So if you'd like my products and you want to buy some of my products, go to Amazon. You can go to Groupon. You can go to 123treats.com. We're on Walmart.com. But actually, just go anywhere online. Put in Scoochie Pet. You'll see our products. We have top quality toys. We guarantee everything we sell, and we have the best stain remover in the world, in my opinion. Don't sue me.
Great. Thanks for tuning in to our first episode. If you want more information, if you know somebody who may be qualified to be a guest on my show, go to my website, 360degrees2success.com. That's spelled out 360 degrees success.com. Thank you. See you again.